Days passed, and the air in the house was heavy. Emma barely spoke to Liam. She had looked up to him her whole life, and now, her trust in him was shaken. Liam tried to make it up to her. He promised again, "We'll go to the ocean next weekend, I swear," but Emma only shrugged. Her excitement had faded, replaced by doubt. Liam felt it deep in his heart. But there was another thing that bothered him, that night at the train station. Who was the man in the dark coat? Why had Ben tricked him? He hadn't heard from Ben since. The more Liam thought about it, the more uneasy he became. One evening, as he walked through town, Liam saw a familiar figure. It was Ben, slipping into a small alley. Without thinking, Liam followed him. "Ben," he called. Ben froze but didn't turn around. "Liam, I didn't want you to get involved," Ben said, his voice low. "I had no choice." "No choice?" Liam's anger flared. "You put me in danger." "What is going on?" Ben sighed and finally faced him. "I made some bad deals with the wrong people, Liam. That man you saw, he's dangerous. He wanted something from me that I couldn't give, so I gave him your name. I didn't think he'd actually come after you." Liam's fists clenched. He had always been the one people could rely on, and now his own friend had betrayed him. "What does he want?" Liam asked, trying to keep his voice calm. "I don't know exactly," Ben admitted. "Money, power, control. It's all a game to him. He enjoys playing with people's lives. You were just supposed to be a distraction." Liam shook his head, realizing how deep this problem went. "I have to protect my family. Emma, I've already let her down once. I can't let this happen again." Ben looked away, ashamed. "I'll help you, Liam. I owe you that much." They agreed to meet the next day to figure out what to do, but that night, Liam couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Emma, about the promise he had broken, and the danger that still hung over them. The next morning, Liam found a letter slipped under his door. It was from the man in the dark coat. "You can't run, Liam. I'm watching. Meet me where it all started, or your sister will pay the price." Liam's heart dropped. He crumpled the letter in his hand, panic rising in his chest. This man knew about Emma. Liam couldn't let anything happen to her. He raced to Ben's apartment. "We have to end this," Liam said. "Now." Ben nodded, guilt weighing heavily on him. Together, they made a plan. They would go to the old train station where it all began, but this time, they would be ready. That night, Liam kissed Emma on the forehead as she slept. "I'll make it right," he whispered, before heading out. At the train station, the air was thick with tension. Liam and Ben waited in the shadows. Minutes felt like hours. Suddenly, they saw him, the man in the dark coat, walking toward them, his steps slow and deliberate. "I'm glad you decided to show up," the man said, his voice smooth and cold. "I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me." "This ends tonight," Liam said, stepping forward, trying to hide his fear. The man smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You think you can walk away from this? You are in too deep now, Liam. Your friend here owes me a debt, and you became part of the deal." Liam clenched his fists. "What do you want?" The man's eyes gleamed. "It's simple. I want your loyalty. You help me with a few tasks, and I'll leave you and your sister alone." Liam's mind raced. He couldn't trust this man. But before he could respond, Ben stepped forward. "No, it's over," Ben said, his voice shaking but firm. "I'll pay whatever I owe. Just leave Liam and his family out of this." The man's face darkened, but then he chuckled. "Brave, but foolish." He pulled out a small black book and flipped through it. "You're free to go," he said, looking at Liam. "But remember, I always collect what's mine." Without another word, the man turned and disappeared into the night. Liam and Ben stood in silence, the weight of the moment settling in. "You think it's really over?" Liam asked quietly. "I don't know," Ben admitted. "But for now, you're safe. Go home, Liam. Be with your sister. Don't make the same mistakes I did." Liam nodded and headed back home. When he opened the door, he found Emma waiting for him, her eyes wide with worry. "Did you fix it?" she asked softly. Liam knelt down beside her. I did. And next weekend, we're going to see the ocean. I promise. This time, Liam knew he wouldn't break that promise.